Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juicy little lads. Thank you, little lads. You're delicious and bright. Gotta remember the batteries now. Now then, my delicious babies. So it's 20 past 12 in our old England, my delicious babies, and it has gone cooler. And it is absolutely bucketing down with rain, my delicious babies, okay? Now, some would say that, this isn't a bad thing, really. Do you understand what I mean, okay? Yesterday, it did brighten up a bit, okay? But I don't know, it might change a bit. It's rather windy, okay? But anyway, not to worry. You see, there's an old-fashioned saying. What they say is if you walk in the rain, you're walking in prosperity. That's what they say, my delicious babies, okay? Anyway, so let's just take a look now, shall we? I have got some videos today, my delicious babies. Now, yesterday, my video, I don't know, I think it took about 18 hours to upload onto old YouTube, my delicious baby. So it took a very long time. So they may, may have been going through it. There we are, with a fine tooth comb, my delicious babies. Anyway. Yeah. So, I'm just, what I'm going to do, my delicious babies, because I'm not sure if I can comment. I haven't checked to see if I can today, my delicious babies. But what it is now, I'm not really going to send a lot of comments. I'll send some comments, do you know what I mean? But just nowhere near as many, okay, my delicious babies, because I feel, as far as I'm concerned, there we are, I've advertised enough, do you know what I mean, for me to advertise. Now I can move on to other things, okay? But like I said, I do this, there we are, as a hobby. Okay, my delicious babies, so I can move on to others. Now, sorry, excuse me. Now, there has been some new ones come up on my feed, my delicious babies, okay? Now, this is the first one. Now, they're all on YouTube, good old YouTube, my delicious babies, okay? So this one is nearly 20 minutes long, my delicious babies, okay? This uploader happens to have 13.7 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And it's called capital Q, quiet, space, capital H, historians, okay, my delicious babies. So it's called quiet, space, historians. That's the upload, my delicious little babies. And with anybody not in that way, okay? Now then, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. There we are. But there's a point, there we are, to what I do. Okay, my delicious little babies. And the video should read, Nero, Nero, castrated this boy to replace dead, we don't like that word, we seem to be hearing a lot of it, dead wife. Sorry, excuse me, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'll just repeat that again for you, shall I? Nero castrated this boy to replace dead wife. Right, my delicious little babies, okay? Now, here's what I've got to say here about this, okay? This is a sad story, my delicious little babies, and this is, like to do with the emperor. Anyway, he was married the first time, so I'll just make it very brief. He was married the first time, my delicious little babies. Anyway, but it was a loveless, and from what I gather of listening to this video, a very pointless exercise in even getting married. My delicious little baby is certainly not compatible at all. But then this man now then, he decided that he loved this, what's her name, Pompey or something. Anyway, so for some of you martyristic babies, you may very well know this story. But for myself, I wasn't familiar with it, okay? But of course, the historians and things like this now then, well, of course, they would know this. Bless them, well, I would have thought so, if they are historians. But so anyway, so he basically he married Pompey. It's flipping bucketing it down, Mads babies. And he did everything. He was very possessive. He was very, like at every move wherever she went, and like this now then. Anyway, the point to all of this is it came to a crunch point because she didn't feel that he was um, paying the attention that he should have been paying, to their marriage. He was too busy doing, other things. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Anyway, so fast forward. So what happened was he lost his temper with his wife, Pompeia, and and she was expecting a baby. Okay, so I'm not here to, do you know what I mean, to depress anybody or anything. Okay, this is real what happened apparently, and he let's just say he attacked his wife, and but her internal injuries were so very bad. He even, paid for others, for the best that they could get to try and save her and the unborn baby. But unfortunately, they could not save either Mama Bear or Baby Bear, very sadly. But then what followed, Maatelijke babies? I mean, we need to take a look at what's going on in the world, Maatelijke babies, yes. Because what followed was this young lad now, this teenager, okay, I think he's about 15. And he was that doesn't mean he was being trained up, to do something, like these, I don't know, these, I don't know, it's all in the, is it political word, whatever it is. Anyway, Maatelijke babies. And, what it was, he looked, that doesn't mean that, he looked a double of, like Pompeia, okay? Maatelijke babies, but he was a male version. She was a woman, clearly, Maatelijke babies, so that's not being sarcastic to yourself. And he was a boy, okay, Maatelijke babies. Anyway, so Nero decided that he wanted him to, this poor young lad, to become a woman, so to dress like a woman, to be castrated. I mean, it's flipping horrendous, man, what he did. Then fast forward, then he, Nero, because you know what I mean, things were catching up with him now. There we are. Okay, and he took his own life. Well, then what happened to this poor lad now then, who who Nero, did all of these, had all these terrible things done. Do you know what I mean? In his sick and, demented flipping noddle, Maatelijke babies. Well, then he was passed around like, there we are, like pass the parcel, Maatelijke babies. How flipping awful is this story, Maatelijke babies? So I'm not here to depress you, but I mean, this is a tragic story, Maatelijke babies, okay? And in the end, bless him, I think he was about 20, listening to this video. He took his own life. How sad is that, Maatelijke babies? Do you know what I mean? So we have to see, like I said, I'll repeat again, what's going on in the world, Maatelijke babies, okay? So it was a very interesting, very sad, but very, there we are, interesting video to listen to, Maatelijke babies, okay? I stumbled there, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so that's that one ticked off. But yeah, so sad, for somebody to be treated in that appalling manner, Maatelijke babies. But again, what is this? What does it come back to? Ka-ching, ching, ching. You see what I mean? And some who are in power do these putrid and awful things, Maatelijke babies. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Maatelijke little babies, but we see long time, isn't it? So the next one, Maatelijke babies. So this uploader happens to have 48.7 thousand subscribers, Maatelijke babies. And this one is called, I need to spell this out for you. This is the uploader, Maatelijke babies. Capital N-E-T-U-R-E-R. Okay, so it's Natore. space Carter, capital K-A-R-T-A. So that's the upload of my delicious little babies on YouTube. Natore, sorry, Carter. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, this video, yeah, and I'm not too sure what response I would receive, about this, but no, this is it just over 5 minutes long, my delicious little babies, and I'm going to read it out to you. Why the Zionists want and provoke wars since Zionism was founded. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Why the Zionists want and provoke wars since Zionism was founded. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, what this is a small group of Jewish men. Okay, my delicious little babies. And they stood outside DC born in the USA, okay? And what he's saying, and again, this came up on my feed, my delicious little babies. I wasn't seeking it, it found me. Okay, my delicious little babies. And it was very interesting in over 5 minutes, because these small group of Jewish men now then, well, I totally disagree with what's going on, my delicious little babies. Okay? Now, I've always said, and I stand, there we are, by what I say, okay? I personally believe that whatever nationality somebody is, what everybody's been labelled as, there's good and bad in everybody. So, and at the end of the day, I truly do not believe that all Jewish, mankind agree with this, what's going on, my delicious little babies. And I just knew that there wasn't, do you understand what I mean? And it was interesting, there we are, to listen to this. And it's also very interesting and really important to read comments in the videos, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but a very interesting over 5 minutes, my delicious little babies. I never needed to stumble there. Now, of course, you will have others in the world, who have a completely, there we are, different view. But for myself, and I go back decades now, I never met any, this is my own personal experience, I never met any bad Jewish folk. No, I never. Do you know what I mean? But of course, some would probably just totally not like what I've just said, but it's the truth. Like I said, there's good and bad. There we are, in everybody. You know what I mean? Whatever nationality, anybody, I repeat again, that there may be. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So again, very well worth, there we are, a listen to that video should anybody have any form of an interest, So nobody's agreeing. Not everybody's agreeing with this, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay, and really, he's just done saying the truth now. You know what I mean? And what is it, our dear creator? There we are. Love the truth. Do you see what I mean? There we are. And it is the truth. Okay, and he totally disagrees with what's going on. And to do with all of these wars. Okay, my delicious little babies. So that's that one. Now, the next one, my delicious little babies, this is over 8 minutes long, my delicious little babies, okay? And it is called, this is the upload of my delicious little babies, capital H for holic. This is called holic. H-O-L-I-C, holic. Okay, my delicious little babies. And I don't know why I'm stumbling on this, because I don't need to. But, maybe there's another reason, you know what I mean? The price of gas and liquor these days, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? They've been doing a hop, skip and a jump, like nobody's business, isn't it? Making flipping millions and millions of ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. profit and flipping bleeding all of us. Just a figure of speech, my delicious little babies. It's an old-fashioned saying. And bleeding us effing dry, man. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. So this one here, yeah, this uploader, Holic Space Capital C Creations. Okay, my delicious little babies. This uploader happens to have 422,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, again on YouTube. The video should read, I never have to buy gas or electric again. Yeah. How to get hot water from PEX, P-E-X, and plastic bottles. My delicious little babies, it's got a plastic bucket as well, my delicious little babies can. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? I never have to buy gas or electric again. Sorry. How to get hot water from PEX and plastic bottles. Yes, my delicious little babies can. Now, I mean, he's clearly somebody who does this sort of thing, you know what I mean, very creative with what he does and everything, And this is why I like to point out in the world, my delicious little babies, that when ones are trying to depopulate, okay, they need to look at, there we are, how creative ones are. This is not the first time I've said this, and it's not going to be the last. Now, I personally, there we are, thought this video was very, there we are, once again, there we are, came up on my feed, very interesting, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean, okay? And he was actually showing with, one of these, what are they, thermometer things, how the flipping, the water that was getting hotter and hotter, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? Okay? But a super duper, a brilliant little video in just over 8 minutes, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So you will have some out there who are very, they're naturally creative, and they happen to like videos like this, you know what I mean? But for myself, I pay, there we are, attention to this. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Because it goes to show that, believe, there we are, and one can achieve. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Very important, and like I said, especially with what's going on, where they want to give us problems now, to do with gas, to do with electric, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So these type of videos, there we are, I feel, come in most handy. And we thank the uploader for being so very kind to upload their videos. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Now then, so we've got the final one. Oh yeah, again, came up on my feed, my delicious little babies, okay? And this one is called, again, YouTube, my delicious little babies, capital G, GAR, G-U-Y, space, Christensen, capital C, Christensen. Okay, my delicious little babies, so it's a sen, S-E-N on the end. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? This uploader happens to have 13.4 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And the video should read, I think it's just over 4 minutes long. It's not a long video, my delicious little babies. Welcome to the United States of Israel. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Welcome to the United States of Israel. Now, this young man, he's only young. I'll probably say he's got to be about 20 or something. I don't know. 20 or I don't know, 20, 22, I don't know. He only looks young anyway, my delicious little babies. And he's giving his take on how he feels about the United States at the moment, my delicious little babies, Kai. He's also explained that he's got below his other links and everything. He said in case YouTube, there we are, removes his video, my delicious little babies, Kai. And he said, please, can you look at other videos of his where he's talking about, I can only assume, stumbling there, my delicious little babies. Well, no need to stumble there either, but we're stumbling for a reason, aren't we, my delicious little babies? Which I should imagine is to do with this subject. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, but he is on other places, he said, okay? Again, another very, there we are, interesting video, there we are, to come up on my feed. What I am going to say is this is going to be, with these videos, one-offs, okay, my delicious little babies, okay, because I cannot really, not being rude or disrespectful, okay, but I cannot really see myself. I'll probably look at that, to do with that holic creations, to look at other things, you know what I mean? Because we need to, I believe, there we are, start doing something, my delicious babies. Now, there are some, bless them, who already are, do you know what I mean? But I just believe that what I'm trying to do, to be perfectly honest, there we are, is train me noddle, do you know what I mean? And look at these things, do you know what I mean? So I can see. I'm very visual. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, and I also work very practically. So I'm not what I would say academic or anything like that, but I'm very visual. So I like to watch how there we are, how something is done. Do you see what I mean, Martin? Babies, okay? And then, usually, well, I do get round to there we are. You know, attempting to do different things. My delicious little babies, do you see what I mean? Okay, so I'm just trying to train me, there we are, me noddle at the moment to get myself into that mood. There we are. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? And yeah, this young man now, he's explaining, and what was he talking about? It was an awful lot in over 4 minutes, my delicious little babies, okay? But I'm going to be honest with you, I could not fault that young man one bit with what he had to say. You know what I mean? I mean, the USA should be the USA, just like England should be England, just like Ireland should be Ireland, Spain should be Spain, Greece should be Greece. Do you understand what I mean? Everybody in their countries should be able to feel super duper deliciously happy. There we are, being in their own country, my delicious little babies, okay? Not feel as though, something else, there we are, is completely taken over, okay? And he's just expressing, there we are, how he feels about this, my delicious little babies. So it's been very interesting looking at all these videos today, my delicious little babies, because I haven't really given out any information of late. I've had a moan. I've calmed right down now, my delicious little babies. Okay, I'm very calm now. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, it's just every now and then I have a little bit of a flipping flare up. Do you know what I mean? And then I just calm myself down again. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, just to let you know, with that lemon, I've looked at other videos. Not many, but I've looked at a couple. And yeah, you've got to wait. That doesn't mean no. You've got to wait until you consider little strands, like where the strands are growing out, the lemon, and then you can plant it. Okay, my delicious little babies. But I've seen another method as well, which it's with water. So I'm going to see, I've got another 9 days to go, okay, to see how my little lemons get on, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? But it would just be super duper delicious, do you know what I mean, if this little experiment would work. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? And I may very well try it with the water one as well, my delicious little babies, just to see what the time frame, you know what I mean, in how long it takes. And you're trying different, ways, aren't you, my delicious little babies? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not going to send many comments. I don't feel a need to now. And I feel that, to be honest, I've advertised. I'm just going to close my book. Ones must remember to go back to, where we need to go back to. Yeah, I feel that I've advertised enough, for now, my delicious little babies, okay? And, and I just feel that, for most, I will always put a lovely, pleasant comment, but I won't be sending as many comments. Do you understand what I mean? Because I'm sure that, whoever I watch, my delicious little babies, okay, that they would know that I'm very thankful. Do you know what I mean? So I've advertised them all plenty times. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? All that I was just really interested in is just watching. There we are. One's numbers go up. That's it, my delicious little babies. Oh yeah, and this morning there's an old bill car parked outside. Mards and little babies. I thought, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not sure what that was about. But anyway, but then it just went. You know what I mean? Mards and little babies. But yeah, hopefully this weather's going to flipping clear up. It is starting to go a bit brighter, you know, after that bucketing down Mards and little babies, yeah. But the scar, it's just damn rink, man. It's just, I mean, this is, you know, every day. So even when you get the sunshine, you've just got all these sipping clouds. And do you understand what I mean? This is not how the scar is supposed to look. And even like last night, about 10:30 or something like this now, then the scar just didn't look anything like how it's supposed to look, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's all the videos for today, my delicious little babies. Okay, I'm now going to go and do my lunch. Yeah, because I'm feeling most deliciously hungry right now. But yeah, so if any other types of videos, you know, come up on my feed, my delicious little babies, by all means, I will write them down if I feel that they're going to be, there we are, useful, there we are, information. Oh, there is one last one, but I never wrote it down. This uploader came up on my feed and he had, what was it, 11.5 million subscribers, my delicious little babies. And what he does, he goes round to different countries and, you know, tasting the food. Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, but this particular one, he went to visit Afghanistan, my delicious little babies. Okay. Yeah, it's, yeah. Yeah. They do, you know, like, they're called cocks. You know what I'm on about. You know, the birds, okay, my babies there. But it seems to happen quite often over there. They get the cocks to fight each other. It's cock fighting, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Yes. So I just thought, you know what? When it got to that point, and I just thought, I don't want to watch. I just because I don't know whether he would have actually filmed it. He probably would not have done. But at that point, I just switched off because I just thought I don't want to watch things like this now. Then, do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, yes, okay. Anyway, but he said that yeah, he went to visit Afghanistan, and part of the the title of the video is that he said it was a bad idea. He did say actually, you know, that there's an awful lot of men over there. Well, I can only assume that there's not as many women, but there is men. Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so that's the end of my video, my delicious little babies. But no, I didn't want to, to advertise it because, you know, anything like that, you know, getting animals to, you know, to go against one another, this is not healthy. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, in some countries, there we are. It is clearly there we are acceptable, isn't it, my delicious little babies? Okay. Me personally, I do not feel that that's very nice at all, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Anyway, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. So this would probably, I don't know, probably take another 24 hours to upload my delicious little babies. Certainly, there we are, making it most difficult. There we are for myself. Okay, my delicious little babies. But never mind, never mind. Who's meant to see will see. Who's meant to hear will hear. Okay, my delicious little babies, is so very much love. You just take care of yourselves now then, okay? But really good little videos to take a look at, should anybody have any form of an interest, okay? So, yeah, it's starting to brighten up now, okay? Love ya. Thank you for listening. Thank you for any likes and thank you for any views. Love you, sir. Goodbye.